Hey guys, Scott here, and today I wanted to show you some duels with a really good Pyromancer. But first, a little backstory as to why I'm dueling him in the first place. So, yesterday I uploaded a video basically detailing why I thought Pyromancy was not very good for duels. I posted it here on YouTube, and then I posted it on Reddit as well, just to see what everybody thought. And the general consensus was that you still can do well with it, you're just not good enough. You know, the usual argument that people have, to which, of course, I didn't believe. And so I pleaded with anybody on YouTube and Reddit to duel me and prove me wrong, because I would love to see what else you can do with Pyromancy that I just haven't found out myself. Because I play with physical melee weapons and things like that, and I'm not very experienced with Pyromancy, so there are obviously things that I could miss. So I called for anyone who thought they were extremely good at Pyromancy to actually fight. Now I fought nine people, and we did 5 to 10 fights, like, per person. Some people had to leave early. So I did that, and 7 out of the 9 didn't beat me a single time. These are the guys that were relying mostly, like, on gimmicks, things like, free aim fireballs, doing Black Serpent into Chaos Fed Vestiges, things like that. That kind of thing never really worked. And then there was one guy whose in-game name was, I believe, Cinder, and he actually beat me 1 out of 5 times, and he did the so dumb it's smart strategy. And if you don't know what I mean by that, that's not an insult. That's something that even the best players better than me do. You do something that's so stupid at high level you don't expect it, like swinging like 9 times in a row with a straight sword. You don't expect someone who knows what they're doing to do that. So after the 7th swing, you're like, all right, I'm going. Nope, he's still swinging. Okay. And that surprise, it still gets me to this day. It gets everybody. So when I say it's so dumb, it's smart, don't think I'm insulting the guy. It's actually a smart thing to do. But what he did basically was like 5 Black Flames like in a row within like 4 seconds. And I honestly thought Black Flame costed more stamina than that. I didn't realize that you could chain it together so many times. So I just ran into like 3 of them in a row, and it looked really, really bad. After those fights, I knew about it, and he didn't get me again. But still, good to know that Black Flame is a little bit better than I thought it was. So next, I dueled a guy whose in-game name is Hallowed, I think, or Hallowed actually, and he was really damn good. He beat me 2 out of 10 times, and while that statistically may not sound really impressive, you got to take into account that I was trying as hard as I possibly could. I was not holding my blows. I really wanted to prove my point, and he really wanted to prove his point. So I was really trying as hard as I possibly could, using what I believe to be a better build overall. I don't think Pyromancy builds are good still, but there were definitely a couple of things that I learned from this, and I thought it was so impressive that it even won twice that I felt the need to upload all of our fights, because you don't really get to see good Pyromancers very often. I know in about 1,000 hours in the game, I have yet to see one, so I thought I would show you all of the footage and show you what I was thinking. And you'll notice, like, toward the beginning, I actually like, all of my losses are right in the beginning, because I don't have any experience fighting a good Pyromancer. Like, I don't know even the basics of fighting a good Pyromancer. So it was definitely a fun experience, and I definitely enjoyed learning how to combat it. So without further ado, here are all of our duels. All right, so let's get into it. I also just realized I accidentally deleted, I think, our last fight for some reason. I think I counted one of the ones with Cinder as one of the fights with Hallowed, so I miscounted. There was 10, but I don't know what the fuck I did with it. Whatever. This is the... Nope, that's still Cinder. Damn it, how did I screw up this count so much? Here we go. Alright, so this is the first one. And I wanted to see his build with Sheet Engine, but I thought I would wait until after we were actually done dueling, because it's a little unfair. You shouldn't be able to know, like, their stats like before you're dueling them. After, if you want to, like, learn what they had to build, that's totally understandable, but not before. So he does a lot of Black Serpent at length. Now, they don't really ever hit, but he uses it to create distance between me and him, which he then tries to... I mean, I don't know. I still don't think it's very effective. Now, the Witch's Locks is scary, though. Against anyone, I think the Witch's Locks are really good, solely because of the impact on it. It does a lot of damage, and it starts up very quickly. It's very good at people that roll into you, because if they roll into you, you can press L2 and immediately stun them before they can attack. So it's really, really good. And I think he does most of the damage to me with the Witch's Lock, so not necessarily like, Pyromancy killing me. I think he hits me with one Black Flame in this video, though, which is really cool. But it was mostly the Witch's Locks here. But that being said, he was still really good with the Witch's Lock, so there's the Black Flame that I ran into. So for what I did there is, you'll notice I kind of ran into him, and I tried pressuring him. I thought he was going to roll away. So I started up a running R1. You can see me start it like right here, but he literally cued the Black Flame after his whip swing. So it came out immediately, and I wasn't able to get my attack off. So that made me a bit more wary of things, and it was right around now that I started getting a little scared, honestly. I was like, oh my god, I'm actually going to lose the Pyromancer. I was both scared and excited, too, because there's actually like shit to learn, which is awesome. But you can see I'm just like nervous. I'm like staying far back. I'm not pressuring him at all, which is really bad. And you'll notice the 2 out of 10 losses that I did have are all like right in the beginning, like they're among the very first duels, because I don't know how to fight this shit. Like, I never have experience fighting it. There he got me with 2 Witch's Locks impacts in a row, which, like I said, was the majority of his damage, but it was still well played with the Witch's Lock. So he ends up using Pyromancies more after I said that, because I wanted to see the actual Pyromancies, not the actual Witch's Lock. So you'll see in the later ones he starts using it more. So I switched to Karthus. I wanted to see how it worked. Like, at this point, I was in the experimentation phase. I was like not so focused on winning as I was on just seeing what works against this, what works against a good Pyromancer, because I don't fight it often at all. Like, I never fight this shit. I don't know how to combat it very well. So this is, this is the point of posting that video, and that was the point of having these duels, so I could see, exactly what you do to combat this stuff. So I get into my head that the Karthus is actually not going to work, because he's pressuring me at range with Black Serpent, he's pressuring me at medium range with Impact, and he's pressuring me at close range with Black Flame. So at this point, I haven't really figured out where to get my opening yet. And, I figure it out later, but it's these early stages where I'm still kind of learning. It's like the opening months of the game. I'm still, like, learning what he can do. So a lot of this is me being very passive and just learning what he can do. Learning how to counter whatever he's doing. Fire Surge, I don't know how to dodge that shit. Usually you can just run into them, do a running R1 and trade, which is what I usually do. Or pressure them and then roll catch, which I definitely do at some point, but Fire Surge is still annoying. So we have that and this interaction very often, where he'll do a whip attack, I roll into him, I Yorms L2 thinking he'll do another whip attack, but then he rolls away, and then he does a whip attack. We have an interaction like 10 times. I was so happy to get hit by a Black Flame there that I jumped. I thought that was awesome. Now he throws out some more Black Serpents. And it was at this time I realized I am not being aggressive enough against them. I'm just letting him do shit because I'm just sort of still trying to figure out every combo, every gimmick that he's going to do. And that's still very important in a in a duel with someone you've never fought before. You still want to spend time figuring them out. But I'm spending too much time figuring them out. So eventually I realized I need to start just going aggro on him and start actually just hitting him in the face. And that's where I start actually taking the lead. So a lot of this is me just being really uncomfortable with what I'm fighting. Because, you're uncomfortable with things you don't know about. And here I get a roll catch on him for an enormous amount of health. And the only reason he died there is because he has very little armor because he wanted a sub 30 roll. And because he has very little vigor because he has only 30 vigor because that's all he can afford at that level. So that's some of the drawbacks of the whole Pyro build that I was talking about. He would have lived on any other build through those 2 hits and still had a chance to kill me. So I took that one. This was the third fight. There we go. So, like I said, we have that that mini game very, very often where I roll into him. I do a Yorm sit because I want to hyper armor through his next whip swing, but he knows that I'm going to swing, so he rolls away instead. That was the excellent impact of, or that was an excellent example of impact stopping people from rolling directly into you. He did it like this second my roll ended. Excellent charge there too as well. He's just getting me with all like this basic shit that's like really embarrassing because I'm just flustered right now. I'm surprised that I'm losing, and I'm just playing really sloppy, and he's playing really well. I mean, I always say this: playing well is just simply punishing the mistakes of your player or of your opponent. That's it. So he's doing exactly that. So when I say I'm doing bad, it also implies that he's doing good at punishing me doing bad. So don't think I'm discrediting him. I wouldn't make a video on him if I didn't think he was doing really good. So here we're about pretty even, but he starts fire surging me down, and it's doing a lot of damage. I start putting up my Yorms to mitigate some of it, but I'm still scared to get in on him because of that shit. Now I trade, but I don't win the trade. And at this point, he's got fire surge, and I've got 80 health left, so that's just straight impossible to win. It's because I ran into that black flame like an idiot. So there's no way I could win this. There's no form of attack I can do to actually stop it. I almost get my Yorm sit off right there. Like I was like literally probably a 10th of a second off of actually landing with it. Like that's like, look at that. Oh, so close. That's like a 10th of a second off. But that was the second win, and then that's where the win stopped. But no, we still have like really close fights every time. But I start getting more comfortable as I fight him over and over and over again. So as you do with anybody. And I think that's still, even fighting this guy, I still think that's one of the worst things about Pyromancy, is that you basically rely on gimmicks that can be learned very quickly. It was the same thing with Cinder as well. His gimmick was a lot of black flames in a row. And, you know, there's so many gimmicks that you can do with Pyromancy. And I think it's easier to learn to combat than it is to learn to combat, like, you know, a washing pole, because there's no real pattern you learn with a washing pole. He can running R1 whenever you want. He's not going to chain a Black Serpent into a Chaos Bed Vestiges into an Impact. That's not a combo he's going to do. He's just going to do running R1s at the exact perfect time, and that's it. So I think Pyromancy is still easier to learn to beat overall. I think that's a problem with all spells in general, honestly. Homing Soul Mass Spam maybe is a bit different. But for Pyromancy, that's still like one of the main downsides to it. I think that once you figure out the gimmick, you're not gonna really get that badly affected by it anymore. That being said, I'm still being very cautious, and I'm still trying very hard. And I don't know. I don't think Karthus was the correct choice for this build, because that impact keeps tagging me at the end there, and I'm kind of tired of it. There I try for a Yorm's capture, and I'm surprised I missed it, so then I panic rolled at the end there. That was a really bad roll catch. I actually thought it would hit, but he is under 30%, so he actually rolled out of it. Now, the downside is that he ends up, you know, taking 900 damage from a single combo with Yorm, so when I actually hit, it hurts, but, again, really good stop of my running attack. Really, really good stop. And that's like the thing that, if I had to say I learned anything from this video, it is that Black Flame is actually pretty decent at stopping running attacks if you can predict it very well. It's kind of like using Yorm's Machete to stop a running attack. It has pretty much the exact same effect. So I think it was more on me being bad and predictable with my running attacks. But it's still something you can do, even though it relied on me fucking up. It's still something that actually is more effective than I thought. So there went that one. That being said, even though I don't lose anymore after those, like, we still have closer duels than I thought were possible. So, it's cool to actually find someone that can even beat me twice out of 10 times. That's like, that sounds so cocky and annoying, but he's using a Pyro build, which is terrible in my opinion. So that's actually really, really good. So again, don't take it as like me shitting on the player. He's using a handicap build. So here I finally use the Yorm's Machete, the Hyper Armor. I'm just still in the process of learning what's going to work and what's not going to work, so that makes him a little bit more scared to do the rolling attacks with the whip, because now he knows I've got the Hyper Armor, and, you know, I'm not afraid. I'm not even going to say that stupid phrase. I'm not afraid to use it. Jesus. So yeah, pretty much all of his Black Serpent combos, this is something I saw a lot of people were like telling me about. Why aren't you using, you know, Black Serpent into Chaos Bed Vestiges? It doesn't really work. It just doesn't really work ever. So I don't know. That one, I don't know how it tagged me. It was like 3 feet to my left. There, the Chaos Bed Vestiges there, I just straight up forgot to roll. It was a mechanical error. There wasn't any combo. He just casted it right in front of me, and I just walked into it. And there again, I think we just had some lag going on because, again, it was like 3 feet behind me. I don't know what happened. So I was like, whatever. Shit happens. But that Chaos Bed Vestiges was literally just mechanical error. And don't get me wrong, that happens to everybody. Everyone just fucks up and forgets to hit a button. They forget to R1. They forget to roll. It just happens to everybody. So that's not like it's really a bad. That's not really like, you know, an uncommon thing. That happens, but it happened at the worst time for me. Not to mention, I was pretty panicked fighting him. I was nervous because I didn't want to lose anymore. Losing twice to a Pyromancer, I was like, well, I'd never. So I was really determined not to lose again, and then I just did basic bitch shit like that. So that's why I got hit by that Chaos Bed Vestiges. I still don't think you should ever actually get hit by it. I maintain that even though I did get hit by it, it was because I just stood still and didn't roll. So unless you truly fuck up, you shouldn't get hit by it. There goes that one. What did I do with the last one? What the hell? Whatever. I just moved a bunch of... I have like a bunch of old footage in my folder that I moved to recycle bin because my hard drive was full. And I must have dragged the last one in there or something. I don't know. Hopefully if Hallowed is here in the comments, he can attest that we did have that many fights. I'm not just lying for the sake of stroking my dick, but oh well. So, I mean, he keeps trying to rely on the multiple Black Serpent things, and I don't know. It doesn't work that often. There, I just panic rolled against Impact. It wasn't really the Black Serpent that was the problem. I rolled too early against Impact, and you can't roll too early against Impact. You have to roll at exactly the right time or it's not going to work. But for the most part, like, the combos that he's trying never really worked. And that's kind of the main argument I was making to all those people saying, you know, the Black Serpent, Chaos Bed Vestiges combo is super good. I don't know. It just... The hell? I'm sorry about the lag. That was weird. I don't know. It never really worked on me. It was never really super effective, and I don't think it should be effective. It's really easy to just roll through all of it. I mean, it's Dark Souls 3. You can roll 300 times in a row if you want. The one thing that I did learn, though, from fighting really all the people I fought that I asked to duel, is that Great Cast Fireball is actually not the way to go. It's pretty shit. And I'm glad people agree with me on that. I thought everyone thought that it was incredibly good and it was like the best Pyromancy in the game. I thought that was the thing because everyone jacked off about the Japanese Pyromancer videos and they're like, oh, that's all you need. You just need the Chaos Fireball and you're the best. So I'm glad to see that among, you know, the better Pyromancer players, no one even uses that shit. So that made me happy. But it seems to be mostly Fire Surge, Black Flame, Black Serpent. Those are the only effective spells. Those are the 3 constants I saw in all of the fights. So those are probably the spells you want to make the best use of. Because those are the ones that actually ended up doing some damage to me. At this point, I actually checked his build, and he literally had 30 Vigor. And he's so squishy as a result of it. And I don't know. I feel like he could probably do more with like an Exploding Bolt crossbow, and still use the Witch's Lock, because he's really good with the Witch's Locks. And then he could also have, you know, 500 more health too, and not be a little pincushion. And that might have had him win more duels, honestly. But again, I'm not trying to, you know, dissuade people from trying Pyromancy. I'm just showing how it's objectively inferior to like pure physical builds. Not even just quality, just any physical build. Even 99 Dex Chaos Blade is still better in my opinion. But let's actually get back into the fight now. So there, I've kind of got a pattern that he has to do. He's relying on aggression with the rolling whip attacks very, very often. So a thing I was not utilizing was my Yorms really well because I'm still actually new to using Yorms on my offhand. I'm not good with it. So here I knew he was going to do a rolling attack, so I queued up a L2 and it does a lot of damage. This is only like a 550 AR Yorms too, and he took 450 damage from it. So that is the unfortunate side effect of having no armor. That you take a shit ton of damage from big weapons. So, all right, this is not our last duel, but it's our last recorded duel. And I don't remember it because I was up all night in the bathroom. He's having a terrible time. There, I actually just fuck up a Black Serpent, and he's sort of confused too. He just sort of stands there. Sometimes on a bad connection, you can just get tagged by it even though you roll through it perfectly. It just happens. Luckily, it doesn't do too much damage, so it's not a big deal if it does happen. But the roll timing can be a bit different. See, he just tried the whip into Black Flame there that I died to, I believe, in the first duel, and I'm starting to realize his patterns now, and that's kind of all it takes to beat Pyromancy, I think. It's not like using a host of melee weapons that you're swapping out of that happen. They attack so fast you can't really react to them in time. It's not like that. Pyromancy relies on a lot of comboing and patterns and things like that. And once someone figures out your patterns and figures out your combos, that's it. Like, now you just have a build with 1300 max health, and that's a huge problem. Whereas like the weapons I have, there is less of a pattern being formed. Sure, I can do a bunch of running attacks, and you can say that's like that's a repeated attack. Now there, I was a little confused because he didn't get stunned twice, which leads me to believe that Chaos Fed Vestiges actually has a form of hyper armor, kind of like Glaives or something like that. So the only reason I took this trade is because I thought I was going to get 900 damage out of it, but he just rolled away after the first hit, so I actually didn't understand that there. That was kind of strange. There I outspace a Black Flame really well. Because he thought I was going to do a running attack into him, but I just sort of stood still instead and R1'd. But what is going on with this lag, man? Sorry. It's a lot of hard drive data being used. I'm recording my screen and playing a very high bandwidth video, so it's kind of fucky. But yeah, for the most part, what do I want to talk about again? What's back here? What was it? Oh yeah, so here, very, very weird. I don't know why he didn't get stunned twice. It seems like Chaos Fed Vestiges, and I've noticed some other spells too have like a small amount of weird hyper armor. They'll still get stunned, but they won't get hit twice. So it seems like Chaos Fed Vestiges is one of those spells that actually does count. Black Serpent does not count. I've hit him in the middle of a Black Serpent, and he got stunned twice. So that's something I learned as well. I'm also not doing very many rolling attacks with my spear. So every time I throw them in there, they usually hit him because I just don't do them very often. Here I got him on very low health, so I try to pressure him, but then I think I screw up really badly. I don't remember what I did. I don't know what is going on right now, sorry. Ever since this shitty Windows 10 update, my computer has been shit, and I don't know why. It's really annoying. The Windows 10 Anniversary Bullshit Edition broke my controller. I have flickering screens all the time. It's just so bad. So, sorry about that. Nothing I can do. I rolled too early there because I thought he was doing an impact. And then I just run right into impact there again. I don't know why I did. But all I need is one more attack. So I pretty much just mash R1 and I take the win. I'm going to stop playing this video so my computer stops freaking out. But that is it. Things that I actually learned from this. It didn't really change my mind. I still think Pyromancy's kind of weak. That guy was just a very good player overall. I think if he just used the Witch's Locks and like another short range weapon, I think he would have probably done better. But that being said, things that I did learn: Black Flame can be spammed multiple times in a row. It doesn't actually have a very large stamina cost. It's actually smaller than you think. So Black Flame is a little bit better than I thought, which is really cool. And well, I guess that's about it. Everything else I kind of already described in my other video. Chaos Fed Vestiges has a weird amount of hyper armor too, so you can't combo. It's also something I learned. But really, it was the only change of mind I had was the Black Flame. That is actually better than I thought. But other than that, I still don't think Black Serpent is particularly great. Chaos Fed Vestiges I don't think is particularly great. I rolled through 99% of them. So I still think those are not particularly great. Everything else that I said in the video still kind of stands, but that is an example of how to play Pyromancy as pretty much as well as you can against, someone trying really hard with a solid build. So, Hallowed, that was still extremely good, man, and I'm happy that I could show everybody you killing me even twice with just a Pyromancy build is really awesome. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hallowed, thank you for the duels, and I will see you guys next time.